Welcome back to BespokeBear Studio. Let's talk about the problem first, and then we'll get into the solution. Tracking important papers in the classroom. It's something that seems like it'd be so simple. I've struggled with it. I don't know if I can't be the only teacher who's ever lost a permission slip or misplaced it, forgotten to keep track of something like signing for the Chromebooks, all these different things that were all, the beginning of the school year, there's so many things you have to account for. And I am in deep. I'm like, all right, what am I doing? What's going on here? I'm just trying to get day to day, no matter how many years I've done this. I'm always, pardon me, what, what's that needs to be done today. So I'd like to introduce a system to hopefully help you keep track of stuff the entire year through. So it goes back to the numbering the students system, and it is kind of like a cheat sheet on that. I got a wonderful suggestion from one of my partner teachers that they don't use the exact same system I use, but they have the students' names. I just always incorporate the numbers, and they make a piece of paper like that. I just made this quickly just to show you what it looks like, where they make about three per sheet. They make a bunch of copies of it with the students' names. Mine always have the students' numbers too, and then a blank spot above them so you can fill in wherever you need to track. So, for example, uh, we use Chromebook permission slips. So during the first weeks of school, I'll have that next to my desk, and one will be for Chromebooks, and one will be for bus numbers and anything else I need to keep track of. It's all in one spot. And the best tip I got from the other teacher is that if you make them, I can usually get three out of a sheet of paper if I do it, long ways. You can make a bunch of them, and then I usually print out, 2 or 3 pages of it because it's so easy to do. And then I just put them in a binder clip and I keep them all stacked, and I keep it right next to my desk on a thumbtack. And I cannot tell you how many times that has saved me from trying to create something new. There's no need. All I got to do is write what I'm tracking down. Uh, and it's so much easier. I'm very, like, field trips stress me out. They always have. I wish they didn't. They always do. So as soon as we have a field trip coming, I automatically take a brand new one and I put, lunch order to make sure I got it, permission slip. If there was money involved with it, I make sure and I use all those things to track on that one little piece of paper, and I keep it right next to my desk. And I made a little category just says important papers, and that's where I stick it. So, it's a combination of my system and this wonderful trick I got from another teacher about making it smaller. You don't need a full piece of paper. That's what I was using. And that's silly. You don't need a full sheet of paper. You just need something that you can easily reach for. And ever since I took her advice and mixed the two systems together, I use it all the time. No matter what I'm doing, I always have it there. I take another one and I have a blank one. I keep it right next to my emergency clipboard. So, like, we do like fire drills and that kind of stuff. So I always have a list of my students. So when you're doing your rostering and you're checking to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, I have it right there. It's one less thing to think about. So when you're lining the kids up, you're going outside for a fire drill, I'm not looking for an attendance form. I'm not trying to think to myself like, well, who was absent today? I go right down the list in alphabetical order. It takes all the pressure off. So it's amazing. This little piece of paper takes away so much pressure. So I don't know if you have a system or if you know other ones that work better. I just found that this is one of the easiest, no effort systems. Like, granted, when you get new kids, you have to reprint it. So I wouldn't suggest printing out 20 pages of it, because everybody knows one kid's gonna leave, a new kid's gonna come, kid gets moved to a different class, whatever the situation is. I usually just I make 2 or 3 copies, which is, 6, 9, 12, whatever they are. I do 3 per. And then as soon as I get down to the last 2, I'll go make another set of 3. So once every other month or once a month, the worst case scenario, I go make 1 copy and I'm done. So it is really, really useful. So back to the beginning of the school year, when I take it for we always do a back to school night. So I have my class list printed, and I keep this to keep track of what students I got a chance to meet. and I can put little notes next to it if there's something I need to know about the kid, like what they're interested in, or whatever the situation may be. But instead of having like a huge clipboard, I just need one piece of paper. It's also, like I said, I did the fire drill, field trips, any kind of important paperwork. I know that I have to track at least 7 or 8 different things for the first couple weeks of school. This has been a lifesaver, and I'm sure it's obvious to some people, but for the people like me that it wasn't obvious to, hopefully this is really helpful. And I guess on that side note, I don't think of myself as a veteran teacher. I've done it for 10 years plus, but I am always willing to listen to what somebody else has to say. And that has served me incredibly well over the years. So I guess that'd be like the little bonus tip. Don't discount anybody's ideas. Like when this teacher came to me, I didn't understand what the concept was. I was like, well, I already do that. But instead of saying that, I just didn't say anything and I listened to what her theory was, and it vastly improved what I was doing. So I think that's super important. There's so many good ideas out there if you just open yourself up to realizing that maybe your way isn't the end all be all. And there's always somebody who can offer something to you. I have had so much more fun doing it because that's my mindset. When someone comes with an idea, and this one particular person, I always joke around like some of the ideas are crazy. I'm like, nope, can't do that. That's too much for me. Some of the ideas are fantastic and game changers for me. So I always listen because you never know. Listening to somebody's idea costs nothing. Maybe it makes your life better, or you don't use it. Like these, you can take these ideas I'm giving, you can use them, or totally don't use them. It doesn't matter. If it makes your life better or if it makes your job easier, even that much, well, that's worth it. For me, at least, it is. Uh, I would take all the hints I could get if I look back on year 1 through 4. So wherever you are in your teaching career, I always feel like there's something new to learn. But for me, years 1 through 4 were hard. I was always trying something new and always trying to do whatever. So I guess my little series are just how to distill 10 years worth of making all the mistakes. Let me make all the mistakes. I've done it. Truckloads of mistakes. Uh, why should you have to make the same ones I did? So I hope this helps. Again, it's just a simple system where the names are there, the numbers are there, and then this part right here, just write in whatever you want to write in. For me, it's bus numbers. Bus numbers are so confusing because they're not just like 1, 2, 3. It's 215, 17B, or whatever they are. They're never logical numbers. They're just crazy numbers. So I get confused on that. And I'm always afraid I'm going to leave a kid somewhere. So super important for me. So, I hope this stuff helps. I hope you can take away from it just that little lesson is like, be open to new ideas. Be open to somebody who's really new to teaching because who knows? It could be a fantastic idea. Let them share. Don't discount somebody because they're newer. That's just a mistake that needs to stop. We need to listen to new people doing things. I came into this career after doing 17 years in the restaurant and doing 4 years in the military. I know what it feels like to be new. I came in as a dad. I'd already had 2 kids when I changed careers. And I had a lot of ideas because restauranting, running a corporation, like corporate stuff, and teaching are very similar. And sometimes I felt that the ideas didn't get listened to because, well, this guy's only been here for a year. Uh, I'm not saying all my ideas are fantastic, but I got a couple gems in there, or at least I think they're pretty good. So get all the free stuff you can use. Just because it's fancy doesn't mean it's better. And if you like this sheet, like I always say, I'm super plain, super easy. If you're a fancy teacher, make it fancy. Go into Canva it up, do your designs, do different colors, whatever makes it yours. Mine's always going to be a plain white piece of paper with bold black outlines. That's what I like. Bold numbers, bold outlines, Excel. I have a business mindset, so I like things when they're in spreadsheets. So anyway, hope this helps. If you don't make it fancy, that's fantastic. If you have a suggestion that could work with this, I'd love to hear about it. Or if you have a question about any of this stuff or how this works, or if it, I'd love to hear about that too. I'm happy to answer any questions I can. Uh, but as I always say, I never claim to be an expert. I just know what works for me. So if some of the stuff I'm saying seems like it might work for you and you just have a question about how would it work this way, I'm more than happy to help if I can. You just leave a comment or a question. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I read it. So thanks again. Hope you have a great day.